Hey there, welcome to Imantix AI Academy. Today we'll be discussing an aspect of LLMs and models, which is how models have changed over time. Like there was a time when these LLMs, ChatGPT.com, Gemini, they were more of a toy or a plaything rather than something effective and able to do something. And that has changed over time. In the last 6 years, these tools have become really powerful. And what we are trying to discuss today is what is the source of that change and that power. Um, so, in effectiveness, a lot of this power that these models are have today is based on something called tools and functions, and certain layers built on top of those functions, which are built later called MCP. But we'll just try to break it down and take it step by step as to how things have changed. Now, the first thing, the brain, the LLM. Now, if you look at an LLM, it's like a brain, but it's sitting in a remote location. So, say for example, if we want to do some task, we want to calculate some financial valuations, we want to operate a machine, we want to do something, right? Now, I have a brain, and that brain is sitting somewhere. So, what we do is we ask the brain, we ask it, how do I do a task, or tell me something about the history of the world and so on. Now, that brain sitting in its remote location would respond based on the data that it has. And usually these LLMs are trained on data that's pretty old. They don't have, I mean, the training process is difficult. It can't be done instantly. So it takes time to train a model. So the data that they normally run with is probably months to years. It may be a few months old, or it may be a year or two old. That's with most of these models. So now you go out, you ask a question, you get a response. That's what that's how things started. ChatGPT.com. We used to ask questions to get responses. Some of the responses would be hallucinated, and we would discuss and normally just treat it as something to play with, not a serious tool. What changed? What caused the change to happen? The biggest change that happened was the introduction of functions and tools. Now, what's a function or a tool? So, say for example, we have a device that needs to be operated, and say a lamp that needs to be switched on. And I ask the LLM that switch this lamp on, right? Now, the LLM is hosted somewhere in a remote location. Say, I have a data center all the way in New York. So, there's a data center in New York where the LLM is hosted. I have my lamp somewhere in Mumbai, India, right? Now, how is this LLM, which is hosted all the way in New York, supposed to control this lamp, which is in India? So, what you do is you create a function, you create a layer here. It's a function which can switch the lamp on or off. This function is running in Mumbai, India, where the lamp is, right? And what you do is you tell the LLM that there is a function available to you to switch a lamp on and off. So we tell the LLM when we send the prompt to him that there's a user input and there are system instruction of what tools it has available to it, what it can do. And we say that the tools available to you are switch lamp on, and we tell it that you have this tool available to you. Based on the input that you get from the user, you can choose to call this function. And if the LLM calls the function, what we would do is we would go out, call the function, and execute whatever it's trying to do. So when the user tells the LLM switch the lamp on, and the LLM knows that I have access to these functions, and one of those functions is switch lamp on, which is supposed to switch a lamp on. It would send a response saying execute this function called switch lamp on, and then what we do is when we get the response, we call the function and we switch the lamp on. So that's basically what happened in the world of AI or models. That these models got powerful based on the functions and the tools that were supplied to them. Now, over time, what will happen is most of these applications that get written, which can call a model and supply functions to them, they are all written in different languages. You have like C sharp, you have Python, you have Java, you have all these different languages in which people are writing these functions and these tools which can be provided to the models. Now, what problem this creates is there's a lot of repetition, there's a lot of maintenance. Someone created a function, say, to upload to send out an email via Gmail. Now you need to create that function in every possible language, and there's a lot of effort and a lot of maintenance time that goes into maintaining, fixing bugs and ensuring that everything is working smoothly. So Anthropic, which is one of the very large AI model providers in the world today. The most popular one being OpenAI. Then we have Anthropic. XAI, of course, is catching up, and it's like a pretty popular platform today. But Anthropic, they came up with this system called MCP. It's called Model Context Protocol, and MCP was a way where you can share these tools between multiple software. So you have an application, say it's an email application, and it needs to send out an email via Gmail. And I've got invoicing application which also needs to send out an email via Gmail. So you could create a tool using this platform of system called MCP from Anthropic, and then plug it into each of these platforms. So you can give the same tool to my email application. I can give the same tool to my invoice generation application, and all of them now can start sending emails via Gmail through that MCP option that was created. So this really changed the world in a huge way, because now if I start giving tools to the AI model that it can do web searches, it can access data from different sources and repositories. It can even write code and calculate information. It just brings a complete new dimension to what kind of power these models have today, because of these advent of tools. And we have these online models which became very powerful through the usage of these tools, and you have multiple applications which are built using these models, which again became very powerful because of this concept called MCP, wherein service providers like Gmail, Yahoo, Microsoft, all of them, they have their applications. They can give you MCP servers. You can plug it into your AI software, and you get a lot of functionalities built added to your AI application. And these functionalities, the cool part about it is they are maintained by the person who made that application. So you get, say, I plug in a Google MCP server, and it is maintained by Google. So I don't need to ponder over or work on maintaining some new feature that Google adds or something that changes in the Google platform. You don't need to do it. It'll all be done by Google. Similarly, you have for design software like Figma. You have for testing application like Playwright. All of them started building these MCP servers, and they bundle these MCP servers so that you can access them and use them in your own AI software application and so on. So it's been a very interesting shift in how these models have grown over time, and today with access to various tools and MCP servers, because tools also allow these models to improve their memory. A model by default has a very small amount of memory accessible to it, but through the usage of tools, it can store data, say, in a database, and it can access it when needed. So the amount of memory it can access also increases dramatically. So that's something very interesting in the world of model and model functionalities. Thank you.